So you don't want to be the fat one in the friend group anymore, and I love it. Look, I know you always laugh with them when they make the fat jokes and you pretend like you don't mind it, but deep inside, you hate the fact that you're labeled as the fat one in the friend group. And look, I want to tell you that can stop today. Okay, no, this is not some magic trick where you're going to lose weight and get in shape in a day or two, because those never work. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change your perspective, and then I'm going to give you an exact strategy so you can make the decision to change today. If you can do that, you already won. Okay, it's just a matter of time before you get the prize. So let's hop straight into this. So first things first, you are not a victim and you are not doomed to being the fat one in the friend group. I need you to understand that, because as long as you still believe that you are the fat guy in the friend group, you will act in alignment with that and you will struggle to get out of that position. Because just like if I believe that someone doesn't like me, I'm gonna act differently towards that person. If you still believe that you're the fat one in the friend group, you're gonna act differently. If you believe that you're not that guy anymore, it's so much easier to adopt new habits and be a different person and then eventually get to your goals. So your first step is to decide that you are not the fat guy in the friend group anymore. Once you made that decision, you need to stick with it. I know it's not always gonna be easy. Sometimes it's gonna feel like, but I am still that guy. And if you look at yourself in the mirror, you're gonna be like, but I am still that guy. But you just have to fight that thought and that belief, even if it doesn't make sense externally in the moment. Now, I just want to apologize because I just realized that my chain got attached to the magnet on my mic. So for the rest of this video, there's a bit of a scratchy sound now and then when I move a lot, and that's just the chain scratching against the mic. So I'm sorry about that. I know it's a bit irritating, but hopefully you can bear with that for the rest of this video. So well done. You're not the fat guy in the friend group anymore. That is your new identity. Now you also got to act like it. With changing your identity comes changing your actions and your daily habits. So here's what you're going to do about your situation. Now, if you're not actually serious about not being the fat one in the friend group anymore, you can just as well click off this video right now, because the strategies and the habits that I'm going to give you right now is not going to be easy, but it is required to get you to where you want to go. And if you actually adopt them and do them consistently, there is no way you will stay the fat one in the friend group. So number one, you're going to download MyFitnessPal and you're going to start tracking all of your food. Okay, this is not going to be convenient, but unfortunately losing weight is also not convenient. So you got to do inconvenient things to lose weight. What I recommend you do is take your body weight and times it with 10, or if you want to take it a bit slower, times it with 11, and that's how many calories you're going to eat each day. So if you weigh 200 pounds right now, you're going to eat anywhere between 2,000 and 2,200 calories per day. Now, you also want to prioritize your protein. It is super important that you get enough protein, especially if you want to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Go for 0.8 to 1 grams of protein per pound of your body weight. So once again, if you weigh 200 pounds right now, aim to get anywhere between 160 and 200 grams of protein per day, preferably on the higher side. If you really need to get yourself a protein shake, I always recommend to anyone to get a protein shake, not because it's going to make you jacked. It's not going to do anything on its own, but to be honest, it is pretty hard to get enough protein if you don't have like a protein shake, especially if your diet isn't very good right now. So get yourself a protein shake. It's going to help you get that boost of extra 30-40 grams of protein each day, and overall that's going to help you get better results. So now you have MyFitnessPal. You're tracking every single one of your meals and you're making sure you eat 2,000 to 2,200 calories per day, obviously if you weigh 200 pounds, and you're getting 160 to 200 grams of protein per day. Your diet is settled. If you keep on going like that, there's no way you won't get results. The second thing you want to do is start training 3 times a week. 3 times a week, 45 minutes per session. That is doable. If you tell me you don't have time to do that, I sympathize because I'm super busy. But one of the best things you can do is just pull up your screen time and see how much time you're spending on social media. If it's more than 2.5 hours, you have the time to hit the gym. Like dead serious. What's 45? That's 2 hours and 15 minutes. Wait, let me look. Yes, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. So if you spend more than that on social media, just ask yourself, what is more important to you? Not being the fat one in the friend group anymore, or watching TikTok or Instagram or YouTube? Simple question. I know it's not that easy, but you just have to ask yourself that. And I can guarantee most of you guys have a lot more time than that. I work 65 hours a week and I still hit the gym 7 to 8 hours per week. So you have the time. And then lastly, and I want to say most importantly, although if you don't do the first two, this is not going to help. But you have to stay consistent for at least the next 3 to 4 months. Because the problem with most people is they get on a program that actually works, but they only follow it for like a week or two. And then when they don't see results, they're like, something's wrong with my program. I'm not going to do this anymore. And then they quit. But if they just stuck to the program for longer than like 2 weeks, they would have made amazing progress. So stick to your program for 3 to 4 months without even considering to change the program. Because if you do this, I will bet my life on it that you will lose weight. There is no way you're eating 10 times your body weight in calories and not losing weight, especially if you work out 3 times a week for 45 minutes. One of the biggest things that hold people back is the uncertainty of whether their program works or not. And I understand it's super hard to follow a program that you're not even super sure will work for you for like 3 to 4 months, and you're not even that sure if this is going to work. But I can tell you, one of the best things for me when I just started working out was having someone, I had a biokineticist that gave me like a rough structure to follow, and I trusted that man with everything inside of me. So I just followed the program without even thinking about changing it. And that's how I got results in the beginning. I didn't change my program every 2 weeks. I just stuck to the same thing for like 5, 6, 7 months. And then as I got into the rhythm, built some momentum, and also gained my own knowledge, I slowly started to make my own alterations to the program, and the rest is basically history. So those are really the only 3 things you need to do. Get your protein and your calories right, work out 3 times a week for 45 minutes, and stay consistent. Now, a few tips that I want to give you along the way is just, for the love, please weigh yourself like 2-3 times a week. I would say 3 times a week, and take progress pictures. I wish I took more progress pictures. I didn't really take progress pictures when I just started out. I barely have any photos or videos of myself, and it is so amazing to be able to look back and see, damn, this is how far I got. Because when you get on your fat loss journey, it's kind of like planting a tree. You plant it, and in 10 years from now, you don't realize the tree's growing every single day. But if you see, like let's say in 10 years when the tree is big, and you look back at a picture from when you just started, it's like, oh, that tree was so small then, but you don't realize the growth every single day. And it's the same with your fat loss journey. You're not really going to see the progress that quickly. Yes, you're going to realize, oh, some of my shirts aren't fitting the same way and I'm looking a bit better. But if you have progress pictures, it is so amazing. And also, sometimes the scale is super deceiving. You don't really lose a lot of weight on the scale, but you lose a lot of fat and you look totally different. So if you have progress pictures, you have your weight and then also your clothes and so on, then you have 3 very good ways to measure your progress. Now look, I don't expect you to eat 10 times your body weight and your calories for the rest of your life, but do this, as I said, for the next 3 to 4 months, depending on how much weight you actually want to lose. When you reach your target weight, then you can adjust that a bit, but you still have to stay very aware of what you eat. Otherwise, you're very likely to just pick up all the weight back again. It doesn't help you're on this diet and then as soon as you hit your target weight, you just let go of everything, because then you're just going to get fat again. Like, that's the truth. You don't have to track every single thing after like 3 or 4 months. What's amazing about tracking your calories is you're going to build up this intuition and you'll be able to make very good estimates of different foods and eat a lot more freely, if I can put it like that, without tracking every single calorie. So what I recommend is start giving yourself more freedom little by little. Don't change everything in one day. Give yourself a bit more calories, and then as time goes on, you give yourself more and more freedom, and you just monitor your progress. If you realize you're picking up weight again, then become a bit more stricter for a while again, and then you just adjust everything as time goes on. Don't make any massive changes in one day or in 1 week, because that is why people fail in the first place. They try to change everything in one day. So there you have it. First things first, change your identity. You're not the fat guy in the friend group anymore. Once you understand that and you tell that to yourself over and over and over again, even if it feels like you're lying to yourself, you're going to start acting differently. Then start tracking your calories relentlessly. Weekends as well. This is something that I also needed to add. It doesn't help you eat perfectly throughout the week and then weekends you let yourself go completely. You are going to cancel out your progress, or at least significantly decrease the speed at which you're making progress. So you're tracking your food, you're getting enough protein, you're working out 3 times a week for 45 minutes. Here's a workout plan that you can follow, by the way. This is one of the best 3-day splits that I've come up with. I know it's going to help you. Just stick to this. This ticks all the boxes for a good workout plan. And then lastly, stay consistent for the next 3 to 4 months. That is super important. If you have those things locked in, there's no way you will stay the fat guy in the friend group. And if you make the decision today that you're going to do this and that you're not that guy anymore, congratulations. You are officially not the fat guy in the friend group anymore. Like, realize that. It's just a matter of time before everyone's going to ask you what happened, and people's going to start making fun of you for going from the fat and overweight guy to being the fit and in shape guy. And I know that's what you guys want. So I hope this video helped you. I really just want to give you guys the raw and unfiltered truth. I promise if you do this, you're going to get the results you're looking for. You just actually need to do it. Good luck on your journey. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.